Ever wonder what kind of sandwiches fueled cowboys, miners, and frontier families back in the Wild West? These weren't fancy deli bites. They were gritty, creative fixes that seniors still recall with pride. Today, we're reviving forgotten Wild West sandwiches that have faded into history. So saddle up, hit play, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment to keep these flavors alive. Number 1. Buffalo Jerky Sandwich. Picture the Wild West, where buffalo jerky wasn't just a snack, it was survival. Cowboys and settlers carried strips of smoky, salty meat tucked into bread, a sandwich that seniors still recall with grit and pride. Some folks loved the tough chew, others joked it could break a tooth. But everyone remembers how it fueled long rides and campfire nights. That first bite was rugged and smoky, echoing the hoofbeats of buffalo herds and the resilience of frontier families. Buffalo jerky sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof of resourcefulness and the creativity of people who made something bold out of what the land gave. Number 2. Beef drippings, onion sandwich. Picture the frontier kitchen where nothing went to waste. Families saved beef drippings from the skillet, poured them over bread, and topped with sharp onions to make a sandwich that seniors still recall with grit and pride. It wasn't fancy chow, but it was filling, smoky, and bold. A poor man's grub that carried folks through long days of work. That first bite was greasy and rich, onions cutting through with bite, a taste that echoed resilience and resourcefulness. Beef drippings, onion sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand. Proof of survival turned into comfort, a flavor that still lingers in memory. Number 3. Roasted coffee glazed pork sandwich. Picture the frontier campfire, where pork was roasted slow and brushed with a glaze made from strong coffee. Seniors recall this sandwich as bold and inventive, a flavor that carried the smoky scent of the trail. Some folks loved the sweet bitter punch, others thought it was too strange, but everyone remembers how it stood out in the lunch sack. That first bite was savory and sweet, rugged and rich, a taste that lingered like the memory of long nights on the plains. Roasted coffee glazed pork sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand. Proof of grit, creativity, and the frontier spirit that turned simple scraps into unforgettable flavor. Number 4. Sardine and pickled egg sandwich. Picture the frontier lunch sack, where salty sardines met the sharp tang of pickled eggs pressed into bread. Seniors recall this sandwich with grit and humor, a protein-packed fix that carried families through lean times. Some folks loved the briny bite, others teased it as fishy grub, but everyone remembers how it filled bellies when nothing else was around. That first bite was bold and tangy, a flavor that echoed campfires, scarcity, and the resourcefulness of frontier kitchens. Sardine and pickled egg sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the oddest pairings could become unforgettable memories. Number 5. Fat and bread sandwich. Picture the frontier table, where rendered animal fat was spread thick across bread to make a sandwich that seniors still recall with grit and humor. It wasn't fancy chow, but it was filling, heavy, and carried families through lean times when every scrap mattered. Some folks loved the rich flavor, others teased it as poor man's butter. But everyone remembers how it kept hunger away during long days of work. That first bite was warm and greasy, a taste that echoed scarcity, resilience, and the creativity of frontier kitchens. Fat and bread sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that survival could still carry comfort and memory. Number 6, onion ash sandwich. Picture the frontier campfire where onions were roasted until charred, their smoky ash flavor pressed into bread. Seniors recall this sandwich as gritty and unusual, born from the creativity of folks who refused to waste a thing. Some loved the bold, smoky punch. Others thought it was too strange, but everyone remembers how it carried the scent of the trail and the resilience of hard times. That first bite was sharp and earthy, a flavor that echoed survival and ingenuity. Onion ash sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the simplest scraps could become a memory worth retelling. Number 7, sourdough starter sandwich. Picture the frontier kitchen where sourdough starter wasn't just for baking. Sometimes it became the meal itself. Families kept their starter alive for years, passing it down like a tradition, and seniors still recall how it was spread on bread for a tangy, filling sandwich. Some folks loved the sharp, sour punch. Others teased it as trail grub, but everyone remembers how it carried them through lean times. That first bite was bold and earthy, a taste that echoed resilience and the creativity of frontier kitchens. Sourdough starter sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the simplest scraps could become a memory worth retelling. Number 8, cornmeal Johnny cake sandwich. Picture the frontier hearth, where cornmeal Johnny cakes were baked thick and hearty, then split to cradle simple fillings. Seniors recall this sandwich as a staple of survival, a taste that carried families through long days of labor and lean times. Some folks loved the earthy, warm bite, others teased it as trail bread, but everyone remembers how it filled bellies and carried the scent of campfires. That first bite was rustic and grounding, a flavor that echoed resilience and the creativity of frontier kitchens. Cornmeal Johnny cake sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the humblest grain could become a memory worth retelling. Number 9, Bologna and mustard sandwich. Picture the frontier lunch sack, where slices of Bologna met the sharp fire of mustard between bread. Seniors recall this sandwich with grit and humor, a quick fix that carried both flavor and practicality. Some folks loved the tangy punch, others teased it as cheap trail grub, but everyone remembers how it stood out in the midday meal. That first bite was salty and bold, mustard cutting through with bite, a taste that echoed resilience and the creativity of families making do. Bologna and mustard sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the simplest pairings could become a memory worth retelling. Number 10, lettuce and mayo sandwich. Picture the frontier lunch table where simplicity ruled and fresh lettuce met creamy mayo between slices of bread. Seniors recall this sandwich with a smile because it wasn't about luxury. It was about making something light and refreshing out of what little you had. Some folks loved the crisp crunch, others teased it as plain trail grub, but everyone remembers how it carried the taste of summer gardens and the comfort of home. That first bite was cool and creamy, a flavor that echoed resilience and the creativity of families who stretched simple ingredients into a meal. Lettuce and mayo sandwiches weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof that even the humblest pairings could become a memory worth retelling. Forgotten Wild West sandwiches that have faded into history. And there you have it. 10 sandwiches that once fueled the grit of the Wild West, each bite carrying the dust of the trail, the smoke of campfires, and the resilience of families who made do with what they had. Seniors still recall these flavors with pride, laughter, and sometimes a shake of the head, because they weren't just food, they were history in hand, proof of survival turned into memory. From buffalo jerky to fonia and mustard, every sandwich tells a story of creativity, scarcity, and legacy that deserves to be remembered. If these forgotten flavors sparked your curiosity or reminded you of family tales, don't let them fade again. Like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment with your own food memories. Together, we can keep these stories alive, one sandwich at a time.